Coach, have an opening remark, and then we'll take questions from the group.
Well, it's great to see everybody when we're here. It just means that we're that much closer to college football, and man, I can't wait. I'd like to welcome Arizona State, Utah, and my good friend Deion Sanders to the Big 12 and Colorado Buffaloes. Known Deion for a long time. Excited that he's in the conference. It's an exciting time to be in the Big 12. I think this conference is as good as anywhere in the country from top to bottom. I think every single week you're going to have to play well, and you're going to have your team ready to go. It's an exciting time to be a Red Raider. We're fixed to finish up a $250 million facility build. I think you guys that have come to Texas Tech before, who've been and seen our stadiums, are going to be blown away with the South End Zone. And then with the Adidas partnership with Adidas and Patrick Mahomes, and it is a really good time to be a Red Raider. I'm excited about this football team. I'm proud of our guys in the off season and the summer and what they've done so far. And so with that, I'll open up with any questions.
All right, we'll take questions. Go start here in the front row, right in the middle.
Kenneth Berry, Touchdowns and Tangents. Coach McGuire, obviously, Texas Tech has a very big lineage of great players. How have you managed to kind of tap into the culture to make Texas Tech just tough across the board? And in addition, how has that kind of melded with, the alumni of the past? Like, let's say Wes Welker's, Datwins, Crabtrees, Harrells. Like, how have they kind of embraced the new style that you brought to Texas Tech football?
Well, the alumni has been absolutely incredible. Wes Welker came out and spoke to our team this year and spoke at our coaches clinic. Zach Thomas came out and spoke to the team. And so the alumni and the past players, they know that the doors are always open. The one thing, you ask about the roster, the one thing going into year 3, this is the deepest that we've been. We have 142 college starts in the offensive line. My very first year, we played 3 defensive tackles. I had 2 defensive tackles that played more snaps than anybody else in the country. We feel like we have 7 defensive tackles that can play in the game. And so I think the one thing, the roster is really changed. We have more talent. We have more depth. And just the style of play and what we believe in, we've embraced Texas Tech and West Texas, and I think the alumni really appreciate that.
We'll stay on the right side, row 3.
Coach, Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Last couple seasons, you've had some turmoil, some early losses in the season, but then some really strong finishes that culminated in a bowl victory. What do you credit those strong finishes to, and what are some of the things that you guys are doing to try and start faster out of the gates to start the season?
Man, that's a great question. That's the question that we've been searching throughout this offseason because, we played well at home. And we played well late. We're 8-2 in November and December games, and we've got to continue that because we've got some really tough road games late this season. I think the biggest thing is you contribute to being able to play and keep playing throughout the seasons, our culture. We have a really healthy locker room. Our guys love each other, care about each other, and, we'll really step in and keep playing for each other. So I think that's a big part of it. To get to a fast start, the great thing is we got 5 of our first 7 games are in Lubbock, Texas. And everybody knows it is a really tough place to play in Jones AT&T Stadium. And so we've got a great opportunity to get started on a fast note, we need to do that this year to get going in the right direction.
On the left side, in the middle on row 4.
Hey, Coach, Blair Kirchhoff with the Kansas City Star, and you mentioned Patrick Mahomes in the opening there, and we've seen the imagery on the field and the Adidas relationship now. But can you expand more on the relationship between your program and Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I really would. I don't think anybody in here can come up with a guy at the level that he's playing at, the best quarterback in the world, and doing what he's doing. Whenever it comes to university, and he's going to continue to do that. I always tell everybody we're playing in Lawrence, Kansas last year, and probably the large majority of the NFL on their bye week are going somewhere to take a break, and he's on the sideline in Lawrence, Kansas, watching us play the Jayhawks. The guy just absolutely loves Texas Tech. And what's cool is being able to join Adidas and Patrick Mahomes, he gets to wear that double T every single day without any tape over any other logo. And so, I just really credit him for what he's done. And he's one of the guys literally that texts me because his number changed, texts me, Coach, hey, what do you need? I mean, he's just one of those guys that's always there for us.
We'll stay in the middle.
Rich Obey, Playmakers KU. So having the #1 recruiting class in 2024 in the Big 12, how soon will we see the impact from these players, including 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson?
Yeah, you'll see week 1. Micah Hudson is, a couple of coaches have talked about generational player. Like he is, he's really special. He's extremely athletic, but his maturity level and the love of football and just the love of the locker room. I haven't been around a lot of people like that, but the one thing about that class, I'm really excited. I mean, we have 3 safeties that all ran in the state track meet. They've come in, and I'm anxious to see them. They didn't go through spring because they were still in high school, so I'm anxious to see Malik, Oliver, and Peyton. We had some guys that did come in along with Micah. Will Hammond had an absolutely incredible spring. To give you an idea, he threw 25 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions in every competitive throw in the spring. I've never seen a freshman do that, and he was with the 1s, 2s, and 3s. So that's just not saying that he was with guys, that have the same amount of playing time at the college level. He did it at all levels. So really excited about that class, but you'll see Micah August 31st.
We'll stay right there on row 4, on the right side of it.
Coach Troy Rank from the Denver Post. You brought up Deion Sanders' name. What is it Coach Prime brings to this conference and CU's return to the Big 12?
Yeah, I'm a Texan and grew up the old Southwest Conference and then the old Big 12, so it's great to see Colorado back, in the right conference. And man, I love Deion. I always tell everybody, I coached Bucky, his oldest son, in high school, and he's honestly the best dad of a player that I've ever had. He was absolutely incredible. But what he brings, man, he's who he is. He doesn't make any excuses, and he doesn't take anything back. He's going to say what he believes in and say, what he thinks. He brings a lot of excitement. I think Colorado is going to be really good. They've added a lot of talent, and they do have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And whenever you've got a quarterback like his son, that can make plays with his arm and his feet, you've got a chance to win games. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I am glad that he gets to come to Lubbock first before I have to go to Boulder. I think that's going to be a big game late in the season, and I'm excited to see him.
Right side, 3/4 of the way back.
Coach McGuire, Alex Blackburn, college football dogs. How will new offensive line coach Clay McGuire do in developing this offensive line that has quite a few new pieces to it?
Yeah, that was a huge hire. Number one, to get Clay back to Lubbock. He's got a lot of experience in a very similar offense. But what I was excited about and what he's shown exactly who he is, he's an absolutely incredible teacher. And that's the one thing that I think we were needing, somebody that could really develop our offensive line, not just the young guys, but whenever you're adding guys from the portal and they're learning a new offense, you've got to have somebody that's a great teacher, and that's the one thing Clay's done, man. He has done a great job. I'm really excited. He was a guy that we were looking at whenever I first got hired. It didn't work out, but it's good to have him home.
Go to left side, halfway back in the middle.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Joey looking sharp in that plaid jacket. Looked like Wimp Sanderson out there. My question for you is this. What do you want Texas Tech football to be most known for, and how close are y'all to that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, being the toughest, hardest working, most competitive team, but it starts with being tough. You know, if you're going to win games on the road, you got to be a tough football team. If you're going to win games late in November and December, you got to be a tough football team. And you know, we're growing. We're trending in that direction. We have not been tough enough to win games on the road. You know, that's been one of our biggest Achilles heels, consistently been able to win on the road. It's tough to do that in this conference, but if we're going to be in the mix, if we're going to be talked about at the end of the year of playing in the Big 12 championship, we've got to go to Iowa State, we've got to go to TCU, and we've got to go to Oklahoma State. And so we got to find ways to win games on the road. I'm fired up. We're going to get tested right off the bat against Washington State. It's going to be a huge game. Mike Leach is getting inducted into their Hall of Fame, so it's going to be a big game for Texas Tech and Washington State. But it's tough, man. I want to be known as a tough football team that's very physical, that's going to play you every single snap.
Okay, we'll stay on the left side on the aisle, about halfway back.
How you doing? You know, so you've had some guys speak very highly about you today when it comes to your energy and, you know, embodying that. So how do you give that away to your players? How do you allow them to just be themselves at all times and, you know, be just like you?
Well, Caleb, it's great to see you today. Thank you for that question. That's my starting right guard. Caleb Rogers started 42 college football games. I'm glad that he decided to come back. You know, I think the biggest thing that as coaches, you know, we put so much stress on our young men. This is a tough game. It's a full-time job. It's 24/7 being a student athlete. And so if you're not consistent, if they don't see the same guy every single day whenever they walk into the building, then it puts a lot of pressure on them. What they're going to see whenever they come to the building with me is I'm fired up to see them. You know, I'm always going to smile. I want the best part of their day to be when they walk into our football facility. And then I think it's hard whenever you try to put parameters or conform people and not let them be who they're supposed to be. And, you know, I think it kind of stunts their growth as men. I think you've got to help them become that guy, but I think you also got to let them be who they are. And everybody's personality is different, and it brings different things to a team.
Down here on the left side, front row.
Coach Todd Kaplan, the Daily Toreador. Obviously, you guys welcomed in Cam Brown this offseason. Can you kind of talk about how you want to implement him? I know you promoted him to the backup quarterback. Kind of talk about how you're actually going to use him this season.
Yeah, really excited about Cam. He's 6'2". Yesterday he weighed 237 pounds. So, you know, he's going to be a load. The thing that I love about Cam, you know, is he understands that part of him being a really good quarterback is the way he runs the football. Not only the way he throws the football, but he runs the football. And so one thing that we definitely want to do is add him to the quarterback run game, but use him in a lot of different ways. He's really a great athlete. He brings, you're talking about personality, he brings a lot of personality to the locker room. He's always fired up. He's got a lot of energy, and he's very confident in what kind of football player he is. And so he's another guy. We expect to see Cam in some role every single game.
Right side, second row in the middle.
Coach Lynn Harrington with State Line Power 5. How are you doing today?
Great. Good to see you.
All right. Good to see you. So can you talk about your running back, the workhorse, Taj Brooks, and what he means to your team and the offense as a whole? I mean, he's arguably one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm on the side that he's the best running back in the country. You know, I'll argue that. Taj Brooks, somebody asked me earlier, and this is going to sound funny, but you know, he's kind of the security blanket. Like whenever chaos is going on and a lot of things are happening in the game, we've been through some injuries at quarterback, he's the guy that's there and is steady. He's the same guy every day. He's an absolutely incredible teammate. And we're 1,167 yards away from tying Hanspard's record, and we're 1,168 away from breaking it. And our plan is to break it. And so, and I love Hanspard. He's one of my favorite guys. I actually recruited and coached his son when we were in Waco. So I love that family, but we want to break his record. And, it's important. Taj brings a lot to the table. He's an every down back. He's got great hands, and he's one of the most physical kids I've ever been around whenever it comes to pass pro. Just a complete back. And, man, I'm just happy whenever he came in my office and said he was coming back for one more year. Man, there wasn't anybody more happy than I was to have Taj back. If you want to check out anything, tajtime.com. We're promoting him, and he deserves it because he is not only just one of the best running backs in the country, but he's one of the best players in the country, and I think you're going to see that week in and week out.
All right, that'll do it, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all.